Ishio Yamagata is a man who has a very unique style of writing fantasy. As I searched for who he is, all I get was a Reddit post he's where he is where people don't know anything about him as he is a ghost online. So Ishio Yamagata has really a good fast paced style of the story and really clear cut of the plot of what he was doing and style and exactly you know like he is exactly get out from the tales of fantasy on the past and writing the story as his world building actually really real and actually like in Big Ventura is actually a fantasy where that is democratic, that's magic, that's a lot of the stuff. He wrote two novels series which I consider both masterpiece as he like write Takashi and Reckon no Yushu as people say some people would consider works of him as average, but people like me who hits straight home to this style of writing and this style of direction is considered as masterpiece. So I actually not read any of novel written by him because I only watched the anime. But by watching anime, I actually get what his style is. So in the future, I hope he writing more of a novel and we will get you know we will get anime adaptation. So because both of his work is really a masterpiece that he get publication no adaptation to anime as he already I believe he got yes he got manga on the Takashi and uh Rikinu Yusha. So I really love Bruce of his work. So the style of work as him is that it's like a story of so the style of work of him is like fantasy with really classic theme of like fighting of I first talked about Book of Ventura. So Book of Ventura is really, as someone say, really remarkable piece of work. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of people in them, and and the dialogue is really into the core of those characters has very philosophical and realistic and like confusing dialogue as the same as clear cut style of Takashi and which all of his work which we've seen two of them. As Book of Ventura is really unique because of the fact that I think it is the only anime that I've seen as fantasy as having actually have democratics. That's a joke, by the way, but the world building is actually realized because I believe that he read a lot of fantasy and actually mix all of this fantasy into his work and like realizes piece by piece, puzzle by puzzle, and actually create a feel realized world with fantasy of Big Ventura. Like it's really like I believe he has a lot of projects to write, side projects, or a lot of the thing that he write, out of the scene, and but he doesn't, publish it. I would say his standards of publication is too high, so he probably got this two piece, which Book of Ventura is exactly the pieces that is very polished, very finished, and really shows how can full potential and pushes the limits of how fantasy can be, and how his pushes his standards as first work of Ishio Yamagata. I don't think that he can create a work more realized, more of a masterpiece than Tadakashi. Um, so as I say, Big Ventura, exceed a lot of expectation, as I would give it a 9, I believe. So I changed a bit. So Tadakashi Show is really full realized of how really just surprise you every moment. It's like if you think about Book of Ventura, I would think about Death Note, as Death Note has this kinds of way of writing the story, as every there's a lot of plot point in it. Like it's not like it's not equal to Dark and Black, but Tadakashi Show is resembled to Death Note in terms of how it's progress. The story has really surprise moment every uh every episode as it goes. It's like Light versus Misora Naomi, who is the first lady. That Light fight, that episode that everyone analyzes it, and it's like this. Every episode of Big and Tora have a lot of the stuff happening, and I really liked how Ishio Yamagata named his characters like Hamitsu Message, Nolati Malche, Ruritaku Kuna, Bishley, Kitty Irela, Shiran Biakonis, Tony's Collier, Mirapux, Fender, Roken McMoney. Like, it's really unique. It's truly unique, realized, and I can't say this enough. It's extremely clear cut like Death Note. Like, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's really show how there's no right, there's no wrong. Kind of the story about me. It's actually like Death Note mixed with Code Geass, mixed with Dark and then Black. Every kind of that story mixing with Rod TV. Like it's really um having a lot of things happening in the story. Have meets, have these like um boats, having the story of Violet, having the story of Van Ruga, about robots, about everything that's happening in the Big Ventura is all contribute to overall world building and like overall story into an overarching and like epic ending, with every character just kind of mixing powers and you know to the god, and like it's a epic story, and like it's really epic story, which if it's not kind of rushed in the end, I'm say this is one of the top two, top three of my list. So and so with Big Ventura sets the expectation of the novel that high with Ishio Yamagata, and I think he would not make any work that resembled to Big Ventura, and my man Ishio Yamagata exceeded my another expectation. Tadreka no Yushu is another pieces that can resemble to Big Ventura in terms of the storytelling, but but no anime can compare to the Big Ventura in terms of world beatings. So Rikanayusha is fine in every way. in characters, in plot. But I want to accept that the ending of Roku no Yusha kinda nonsense, but every anime, as I say, has a plot hole. If if it's not that, kind of obvious, like like this, which we could still, see, we could still pretend to, like, we could still enjoying it, as it's really clear cut in style, has this, world building, really fucking good soundtrack, an atmosphere of like being in a fantasy world of tale. It's really hard to say. I really want to convey this feeling of like being in the fantasy, this kind of fantasy world of Ishio Yamagata, because you know the because I really wanted to get the feeling across that Ishio Yamagata trying to get across. I really respect Ishio Yamagata as a person, because I think we resemble in every way. I I live I live being bowed to. I have glasses too, and you know, in every way, I think the way the way he dresses too, and my face is like him too. So I think we could get along as a person, and I want to respect how I want to convey how I feel about his work of Ichiro Yamagata, as he really it's really, personal to me of how his style is realized, how atmosphere of his, you know story is. So, as I say, if, like, Roken no Yusha just not about only sword and shield, as stocks at 700 say. It's not about only sword and shields. At first, I think it would be like 6 Yusha just go to together on the adventure and about to slay dragon, but it's about really this interesting, mystery, and like characters of friendly characters of Nishitani, and I can't say this enough. Um, if I can, like, 1,000 words would not, convey the feeling this that I has for Ichiro Yamagata. So, but the thing I wanted to say is that it's really not about sword and shield. It's about really just, you know, it's about characters of it's about characters of cliche characters of princess, cliche characters of protagonist, cliche characters of assassin, which is probably Han. Um, these people are in the same battlefield, trying to hunt each other's, trying to prove who is innocent, trying to, it's really enjoyable, extremely enjoyable experience that, you know, and the way he writes the story is about. If I read the novel, I believe I would enjoy this, really enjoyed it, as you know, this the knowledge of how the story works, the knowledge of how the mystery works, of people who goes in first, of people who, you know, destroy the table tablet, stone tablet, the position dumps. This is actually the first anime that I really wanted to understand the exposition dump, and exactly the only anime that I've seen that exposition dumps has meaning of what it say, like other than this anime, other than Evangelion. But this anime is actually really good because exposition dumps is actually have a lot of meaning depth into it, because Ishio Yamagata realized everything, every dialogue, everything that he writes, like how how the story works, how about pyramids, no knowledge about how castle work, how this kind of fantasy world work, how Yusha comes to this castle, how all about you know about each Yusha. So my man Ishio Yamagata really just got me. I people people just already forget. People would have already forgotten him already, but I may not, because his story is in my head. So I would say if he just got another novel, it would be a big hit. You know, the thing that if you're Yamagata watching this video, I really love you. I really your style is like me, but you doesn't show yourself on online. So I would know what you think. I would read novel, and maybe I read back on the back of the book, and I would know you more. But you know, I really love your books. So don't set your standards too high, because you set the standard of Vigor Ventura and Recognition too high, and you probably not get another thing that you satisfy with if you set it too high. So just publish anything to for us to watch, for me to watch exactly. So because I really love your work, you got it. Just publish anything that you know pr- will will make me you know will make me like it. So if I were to you know pick if so this has come to me that if I were to search his name onto the YouTube, what would happen? Okay, so nothing happened, and no one just realized what is Big Ventura, what is just only Rick and the usual is this. So see ya.